Hey Hanson, these are amazing. Talk about this picture. This is just fantastic. The way you have the light placed right in there. Tell me how you made this image.
Well, it's kind of interesting. We photographed the wedding of Lisa and John, and he had the first son, and we tried to do a storytelling. So they're having a second child coming up there. So the storytelling is the eye contact was number one son looking at mom and daughter, and you see that he's reaching, touching mommy's stomach. What we did to get the proper height is that we just raised him up with one of those blocks I use. What we had was hair light, double edge light in the side, and we just have a fill light. And we just snug in, and we got this photograph. The key thing is the hand. The hand just the husband's holding the wife's elbow, and the young man's holding mommy's tummy, and that's my new sister be coming out in a few months.
Fantastic. And Monty used to always tell me, Clay, remove all the distractions. And that's what you've done here with the black background. There's no distractions, it's just people, and I love it. Great job.
We did this wedding a few years ago. Well, we did their wedding, they had their child. To do something more casual is that we're getting people lying flat down. There's an illusion to this. Mom just had a baby, she's kind of puffy. What you can't see is that she's about 10 inches further back. And we're using the little child to complete the triangular shape. So there's no three heads exactly the same height unless there's a spacing apart. So this is a classic triangle, casual photograph. Mom is a lot further back to give her a slimming effect.
It's great. Now, let me ask you, do you work alone in the camera room when you make something like this?
No, I always have assistant to get the attention of the child. Keep things very simple. This one I probably handheld. I'm just getting down to their level and just snug in. What's my favorite technique? Is squeeze in, or snug in.
And great little triangle like we've been talking about. Wow, I love the outdoor work.
Complicated and simple. We were waiting for the lighting to be perfect, and you know, a child doesn't wait very long. I shot this with a 7200 5D f4. That's my favorite lens. And the key thing is that the lighting wasn't perfect and the background wasn't really great, so we just used a long compression lens. We use the sun to create hair light, and then we have a pro photo light on the far right and just skim across. The key for me is always dimensional lighting, and light is never on camera.
So you took a pro photo light outside. I thought they plug in the wall.
They have a battery pack strobe, the Pro Photo Cube battery B16. It's a great lighting system that I use on location when I need to.
That's great. So you just picked a long depth there. You brought them in. It's the sun hitting their hair and a flash camera right. So like we've been saying all along, no flash on camera.
Correct.
It's beautiful. Looks like a painting.
Wow. Well, now we did this in Florida. We did this with. Again, my favorite camera is the 5D, 24 to 105. As you know, the sun was setting. What we did, I learned from Don Blair, is that you put the flash in the same direction at the sun. So there is a flash going off on the far left, and it just gives you a little kicker light. But how you tell, you look at my work, look at the foreground, it is not lit. So how I do flash and really camera flash, where it looks very natural, is that it's the same direction as a natural light, and generally one stop less. Now you do low key, this is did the engagement photograph, they're just hugging again. How I create expression is just the physical energy of touching, just squeezing towards each other. The main thing that I'm always looking for is hair light. You look at the light, there's light behind the backside, so the hair just rim out the whole body. From the first photograph to this photograph, that is my style, is the light from behind. And then we just had a nice bounce reflector catching the sunlight and throw right back at them.
That's great. So it's a silver reflector opening up the eyes like that. Talk about the camera tip. I don't notice that you do that very often. Is that what's happening here? You're tipping the camera a little bit?
Well, I'm cheating. Look at their eye. They are same height.
I got
okay,
it.
so you know the old technique is that you want to make one person tall, tilt the camera in an angle so he give illusion that he's tall, but they are identical height. And it's just a moment I thought the lighting was good. It's a squeeze, hug, and then just automatic tilt the camera.
That's great.
Okay, two sisters, just squeezing in there. The key thing is that mom wanted me to do this photograph, but you look at the hair. The main thing is expression and just a nice, simple, clean lighting. The dimensional lighting from behind, I would say it's a Hansen secret. I use a lot of light just from behind, from indoor to outdoor.
When you say from behind, you mean just kind of going around the entire image from each side, back 45, and behind the subject, just bringing the people off the background.
Right.
Like that.
Everyone understands hair light, but very few people use edge light. When you have edge light, it just makes the hair just jump right out.
I love it. This is great.
This is a pretty special photograph. When I do my engagement photograph, I always ask, what's a special place? He said, this is Santa Clara University, and this is where he proposed. Well, actually where they met, and this is where he proposed. So I photographed their wedding, and I asked them, what's a special place for the engagement photograph? And they point out this location. This is a converted 5D to infrared. I shot this with a 24 to 105. You look at I'm doing what we call a vampire bite, you know, and he's nibbling on his ear. She's looking up. You look at her leg movement. She's doing what we call an S curve, and she's arching her back. And that position where their head is in a neutral position, and there's a leading line right into the cloud. I mean, I thought that day were infrared. The palm tree, the cloud is just so dramatic.
It is great. Tell me a little bit more about composition. What's happening with the composition? You were kind of sneaking in a few words about that, but I see some really strong compositional elements here. What's happening?
Well, you know, they are in the room of the third, looking up, lookout space to the top. Composition is that I try to keep people in a very neutral position, so you look at their head. The lighting pattern was pretty good on their face, but there was no hair light. The thing is that what I try to create is movement in the body to relationship with the background. The other thing that I try to do in my photograph, when I consider this as a fine art piece, they are not looking at the camera. A lot of my photograph, when I do an art piece, they're looking at each other, they're looking away, but they're not looking at the camera. So they feel like we're just peeking in, and this is like a classical art piece.
That's a great rule, Hansen. I love that image.
His mom and her two twins, and you know, they were a handful. I mean, absolutely a handful. So first thing I did was that, you know, the twin was identical twin, and they were moving around a lot. So Mom, I said, squeeze, just hug your daughter. And I put them both on blocks, and the daughter on the right, I put a little bit higher to create that V shape. So I try and keep people not in the same height. And by grabbing onto them, again, physical energy, expression, and it's a nice photograph that just feel a lot of loving to it.
Fantastic. I love that one. Triangle composition. And here's another great triangle.
That's the Golden Child. Did their wedding a few years ago. Again, when we look at this photograph, everybody's in perfect height. Mom and daughter has been raised up to the point where it looked good. What you don't see is Mom is 6-7 inches further back. Again, it's that illusion that whatever's closer to the camera will look big. I'm trying to make Mom a little bit small, even though she is a full-size woman. But here's a classic triangle in good expression.
Great clothing consultation as well. Wow, it all blends together beautifully. Draws your eye right to the faces, and I know that's what you're doing there.
I love black and white, and it's just, the key is this, the lowest point is Mom. A general rule is that a lot of classical photography, there's two women and one man, you put the man in the middle. But the key thing is how I create energies by physical touch. Now you put Dad in the middle, if you daughter lean in, you know, certain part of her body's touching is not appropriate, but a woman to woman could squeeze in and there's nothing personal. And Dad just squeezes right behind Mom. So this kind of break the rule. Well, we create a triangle, but we put the mom and daughter together, and then you look at the hand. It's just where the families just connect together.
Now I'm going to quiz you here. It looks like you have a little light coming from below. I see a catch light underneath there. Is that a reflector or is that a light?
Well, that's a reflector. Is that as you reach a certain age, you try and take away lines. There is no wrinkle when there's no shadow. By putting a reflector underneath, that makes the skin just jump right out.
And it definitely has beautiful shape to the lighting. And talk about that kicker light again. That's that edge light that you're kind of getting known for, a light coming from behind.
Right. You look at the top of the hair is glowing, but you look at the side of the body, side of hair. If I'm shooting f/16, my light from behind is generally 1 stop to 1.5 stop less. I use a Profoto 600 compact with a strip light. 4 feet strip light. I think that's considered mandatory for the separation that I like. The legendary Don Blair used a parabolic, and I found that to be too harsh for my taste. So I'm using a strip light just for 90% of my work.
I love it.
Okay, separation posing. Separation, we've been taught that you should connect all the family together. They are connected, and what I did is just give a little bit more space for each family have their spacing. I start with mom and dad. Mom is actually a little bit taller and dad's sitting down. Then the oldest son is standing up. He got the roundest face, so he's put the furthest point away. His younger brother is actually very narrow, so I put him a lot forward. So that's probably a good 12-inch apart. So I try to make that small face bigger and big face smaller. And just do a geometric, you look at carefully, you see multiple triangle.
Great lesson there.
Okay, this is what I call like a loop, like a Nike hook shot from there's a top and the slide all the way down. Mom has got the widest face. She's actually further back. But dad have an oval face. He's actually close, so that is the center interest. Then I just put the children from each side. So we start from the son to mom to dad to daughter, and you see, look at the hand. It just feels like that's trying to connect to the family.
Great portrait.
Okay, this is a very interesting photograph. Dad is in the middle. He got very narrow face. Mom got very round face. So what we try to do is make mom look good. So again, there's nobody in the same height. Just kind of try and connect the family together. Clean photograph. I think everybody looked good. The next photograph, mom's in the front. Now, we did not retouch this photograph. Look how big mom got. Mom just gained a lot of weight. And dad face is a lot small because he's further back. So, I'm playing around, see what works, what doesn't work. And I found that by making a woman look big, it's not a good thing because we don't really charge by the pounds.
Yeah, I really love this one more because, like you said, beauty's in the eye of the checkbook holder, and it's usually the mother that's buying these pictures. That's the one that works for me as well. Wow, this one, I've seen this in the magazine ads.
Well, what's fascinating, ever seen multiple triangle? It's supposed to be a casual photograph, but the key thing is that you see there's nobody in the same height. The trick is you look at the young lady in the middle, putting both her elbow into his cousin. That's the key. People always have a game and say, why do you do that? Because it's not comfortable for a woman to lean her breasts into his cousin. So that arm is there to protect her. Because when you do bad posing, the head have a tendency to tilt away because they're not in a comfortable position. By putting his elbow there, it's kind of lean in, but it also protect her body. Woman to woman body could put their chest together, but it's very rare that you do a relative when they're not married to lean their chest into them. So that is the subtlety of this photograph.
You know what I see here, and this is something Monty used to always tell me. If you cut out any one of these people individually, they would look great. So that's where people miss it a lot, I think, is they just bunch the people together and they're not concerned on how well each person looks individually, which I think that's what's working here. I love the high key, and you know what? You see it in all the magazines. High key is current. It's on magazine covers. It's everywhere. You can never go wrong with high key. What is that, the Denny white background behind there?
Yeah, it's a kind of cool product. It's a Denny white background, and it's rubberized. It's kind of like you step on it and you can wipe it and it's clean again. But the key thing about high key is that you got to keep the subject at least 8 feet away from the background.
Okay, let's talk about this one.
Well, you look at a mom and 2 sons and 2 daughter-in-law and the children. The key thing is that we just say we try to tilt all the head in. It's kind of like a medium key photograph. The key thing is that I put the 2 sons in the front and the 2 women. You look carefully. The man have an oval round and the woman have a round face. So I try to give illusion that the crate, if I put them a little further back, they look a little bit smaller. And I try to make the men a little bit bigger. Mom is basically a very narrow oval face. So by putting 2 sons in the front, they look bigger, uneven height. That's what I was going for.
I love it. I see a triangle inside of a triangle inside of another triangle. It's got great composition there.
We do graduation, his mom and dad came in. Again, you notice that there's no head on top of each other's head. If you look at from the young lady that graduated, it's like a Nike swoosh and come right back to one of his older brother. The oldest brother got the biggest head, so he's at the furthest point. He's not that tall. Again, we just raise him up to where we need him to do. You look at mom. I decided to put mom behind dad just to take out 1/3 of her body. So dad is actually a little closer to the camera. Mom is a little further back. And it's just a nice connection.
That looks great.
Fun picture.
Wow.
This family came in for a formal picture. One thing that I always do is that at the very end, squeeze. Just touching. In our society, we just don't touch anymore. I mean, the best way to get expression, and I just keep it closer. Everybody have a certain space that they feel comfortable. Once you pass that, break that point, it's like a mass, it's uncontrollable energy. And they're touching and they're laughing. And then I'm just prompting them, come on, squeeze. Because I don't think they've been touched that close for a long time. And I broke their comfort zone to the point where they're laughing with me, not at you.
Great. These are great images. Thank you, Hanson. That was wonderful.
Can you talk about your charity?
In the studio, we actually work with 9 different charities, big charities, but honestly, the one that's most near and dear to my heart is Now I Lay Me Down to Sleep. That charity was really one of those intersections in life where, where I didn't know the day that I met Cheryl Haggard, I didn't know that my whole life was going to change. But this organization was founded almost 4 years ago. I had the awesome privilege of photographing a family as they said goodbye to their son. Their baby was born, and within 10 days they found out he had a life-threatening illness that was incompatible with life. And so they had to make this terrible decision to remove him off of life support. And I didn't know these people. They had seen my work hanging in the hospital, and they had just requested. They had called the studio and asked if we would come down and photograph it. I had no idea. There's no way to prepare for something like that. In my career, I've had situations where, somebody lost somebody, or a child passed away, or a father passed away. And of course, we know how valuable what we do is because of those experiences. But to know that you were going down to photograph those very last minutes was just heartbreaking. And so the situation was very different because in that situation, when I got there, the father had requested, he had said, we love what you do. And obviously you can see our son is covered in tubes and wires. And so we'd love to have some images of him, but I have a favor to ask you. And he said, would you consider staying until after we take him off of the tubes and wires and until after he passes away? Because what my wife really wants is an image just like the ones in the halls, skin on skin, no tubes, no wires, nothing to distract from them. And of course, that was like literally a wrecking ball going through my heart. Of course, I didn't want to do that. My head was saying, no, don't want it. And my heart was saying, how could I not do this? And so it was through that situation that I met the Haggard family, and Cheryl and I started talking about what was done after Maddox passed away and after she viewed the images. And she had mentioned to me that another baby had passed and how guilty she felt that she got these beautiful images and that they didn't get anything.